Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. So what was the situation like before COVID-19 actually hit us?
Good afternoon, Judu. Good afternoon, viewers. The situation for mental health, for last year, there were a couple of alarms that were raised that they were having shortages. But for this year, we have actually realized that it's a little bit different. From stockouts, last year we're averaging about 2% of our total stockouts that we realized that they were for mental health. But for this year, there was a little bit of a spike in April, and then it went down. Then after that, around about August, we saw a hike to about 11%. And immediately we knew that there was a challenge within the mental health and epilepsy, medicines. Therefore, we raised an alarm with the National Department of Health, as well as SADC, who look after the mental health. That's your South African Depression and Anxiety Group.
We'll get into the repercussions for patients in a moment, but I'd like us to go through the supply chain process. Where do we get our medication for mental health patients? You mentioned that the situation was there before in terms of the shortages before COVID-19. It's just exacerbated the situation now.
So I know that the medications that we have for mental health, they are active pharmaceutical ingredients that we actually get from outside. And these are critical in the production of the medicines that are used for mental health. And also, as you are aware, I'm sure, just in the general, that the National Department of Health also does imports of medication, and some medications are locally produced just in general. But for the production to actually carry on, we need those active pharmaceutical ingredients. And at this point, we've been facing challenges. It was one of the challenges why we haven't been having mental health medications as well. The National Department of Health also mentioned that in the statement they gave in October, to say they're facing challenges, and then also they're having other challenges. So those are some of the contribution. But for supply chain, once you have a disruption, it's a chain, and once you have a disruption in any of the stakeholders, the whole supply chain actually suffers, and it needs to be corrected, and each and every stakeholder needs to play their role for it to be corrected and get back to the normal position.
You mentioned that we get some of these ingredients or the medicines from outside of the country. Is this something impossible for us to do in-house?
I'm not in a position to actually give more details to that, but currently that's what I actually know, that we get some of these from the outside. I would like to believe that if we could do this one from local, if we could produce these ones locally, then the government would definitely authorize the local production, because it would be a lot easier. But there are also other factors that come to play, and these factors also include pricing and all that. So if it is cheaper to produce it locally, they'll definitely make a decision to produce it locally. But if it is not feasible, then they will definitely import. And also these critical active pharmaceutical ingredients, they also play a major role, and they are very precise when you're doing the production. Hence, it also comes to the fact that, do we have the capacity in South Africa to be able to produce this?
Sure. If you could help us appreciate just how many people we're talking about that are affected by the shortage of medicines and what this actually means for them.
So I won't have a figure for you to say so many people in terms of numbers, but what I can actually let you know is from the statistics that we get from the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, is that they've been receiving phone calls for almost like 700 calls a day, but that number has doubled during COVID, up to 1,400. So you can actually see that we are having more and more, the demand is actually rising, and we are actually having a crisis here. Definitely we're talking of a lot of people that are impacted with these strategies.
Ruth Dube speaks for the organization Stop Stockouts Project. Thank you very much for your time.